Hello, this video topic is about how to move from being a Linux hobbyist or enthusiast to a professional. If you are in your early stages of your career, or a student, or even someone that's thinking to become an IT professional like a programmer or a DevOps engineer, and in general to get involved with Linux in the corporate world, I believe you are going to find this video useful. And if you do, please give it a thumbs up and leave your comments below. Today's world is different from what it was back in the days I started learning Linux and programming. Information is now freely available, and especially on YouTube, there are many vloggers and persons that give advice and having an opinion about Linux and open source. For a beginner without work experience, it may become overwhelming. But if you want to stand out from the crowd and actually follow a successful path into a promising career that will actually allow you to use your hobby and passion not only for self-fulfillment and having fun, but also to make a living, then you will need to think a little bit different. After 2 decades working in the IT industry, and specifically be involved directly with using Unix, Linux, and open source technologies to get the work done, there are a few points that I would give to my 20 years old self so he does not fall into some common pitfalls. The main idea is to focus on the parts of technology that really matters. There is a huge misconception that doing distro hopping and desktop rising is actually gonna make you an expert Linux guy. It's also nice to make clear the definition of being a professional versus being a Linux hobbyist or enthusiast. A professional uses his knowledge and passion to solve problems, so he also makes a living. On the other hand, a hobbyist or enthusiast, he is using his knowledge mostly for having fun. Now, can a hobbyist or enthusiast can become a professional? Absolutely yes. And I know because I was one back in 1998. In a matter of fact, I strongly believe that someone needs to be first a hobbyist, because this way it's clear if this is something that he can develop a passion for or not. Starting a career just because you can make good money is not something wise. As a young man, I was intrigued by the amazing world of Linux and open source back in high school, and I had devoted so much time into trying Linux distributions, making my desktop to look nice, while at the same time I was also learning programming as well. Back then, all that were really cool for me. But after getting involved professionally with Linux and open source in general, I realized that my focus was misaligned. Slowly, I started to realize that I wasn't even bothered by how good or bad my desktop looked like. As a professional, my desktop was always left with dozens of terminals open, along with browsers having dozens of tabs. I mean, if I ever had the chance to see my background, this means that I had nothing to work on, which still today it's not the case. I also slowly realized that it does not matter which distribution you will use if it meets actually your requirements. At this point, the distribution that I am using for my workstation and my servers is Ubuntu. So back in the day, I was managing hundreds of servers. I was already heavily invested into tuning the kernel, debugging issues with strace and GDB, doing performance tuning and capacity planning for several business cases, and also supporting websites that had millions of users per day. So does all this sound interesting to you? Would you really love to learn the skills needed to do such work? If yes, you need to start not wasting time to useless tasks like debating which distribution is the best and how will you make your desktop more beautiful. So here are a few points that you need to consider. You need to stop wasting time learning and tiling Window Manager, because in the corporate world, when you have 20 terminals open, you will still rely on floating windows. Stop wasting time learning text editors like Emacs, because in the corporate world, you will only rely on command line editors because you will always use SSH to access your servers. So Vim is your best and most powerful friend. Stop wasting time trying to run only open source software, because at the end of the day, all your business communications will only rely on proprietary solutions. Stop wasting time debating which distribution is the best, because in the corporate world, guess what? Your options are limited, especially for your servers. You can only use Ubuntu, Red Hat or SUSE, unless of course you work for some customized version of a distribution. For example, Recently, Steam announced Steam Deck, which is a device that is going to run Arch. Everyone, of course, jumped with joy about Steam using Arch. But do you really believe that this is going to be a stock Arch distribution? Absolutely not. This is going to be a heavily tuned distribution that Steam will make it a competitor by providing their own packages, and they are going to support internally. And this is going to be built specifically for their business case. So, to conclude, your job is to get rid of the mentality of doing some local tuning to beautify your desktop. Get rid of only learning to write some very simple bash scripts and start evolving. Start learning the internals of Linux. Start learning programming languages like Perl, Python, Go, C and C++, things that will help you advance your knowledge to the next level. The first step is to try hard and get a job at a junior position. Once there, you will start understanding the difference even by simply following your colleagues around and the way they work. And if you face the truth and accept it, you will be on the right path to learn the skills that will last you a lifetime. Thank you for watching.